that I just started.
All right. Okay, we got the wave screen now. Nice.
Do you see it?
Um, I'm actually looking for the HPL live stream, but I can't find it. Do you mind sending it in the chat, the link? On Skype, the screen is just on one thing.
Do you have the uh, Twitch stream up?
No. Waiting for the link. Or what do I have to type into the search bar? Because I forgot. I'm typing in HPL stream or something like
It's
that.
Umedia HBL.
Okay, you media. That's and I'll let you know if I see the waiting screen right
Mm-hmm.
now. The HPL tournament live stream will resume shortly.
All right.
The HPL tournament live stream will resume shortly.
Can you turn off the sound of your?
Okay. Live stream will.
Oh, it's all.
Live just TV while we wait. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, but I see that our sound is actually coming through, which should not
Shoot.
be happening.
Mm.
But I don't know how to.
All right, they're gonna redo the pairings. I just got it. Okay. Should I mute as well? Yes, are we back up? All right. I'm gonna mute myself real quick. All right, yes. I still hear myself. All right. Good morning, Jen. Design and chess club. Well, all right. So last week we got to see a little bit of design play. I like his play style. He plays very aggressively. This is my first time seeing Chess Club Junior. So right now, what I'm looking at on the screen, so Chess Club Junior has a little more stable structure than Design, and Design is kind of going out in an all-out war. So right now, it's looking pretty complex, and I'm waiting to see the results. Yes. And I've got an update that your sound isn't working.
Fix that.
At the moment, they're only able to hear me.
I hope I just fixed it.
And we're lagging as well, I've been told.
Let's see if this is working better. Um, Here is the game with Chess Club Junior and Josiah G. And the game already finished. It went by pretty quickly. Yesterday I had a 2-hour class with some chess students, and Josiah was one of them. And he really impressed me with how he was thinking about the game. So I'm curious to see if he managed to apply any of the things we talked about yesterday.
All right.
He was playing with black, and
And maybe update the standings as well.
let's take a look. Where are the standings?
Supposedly there's sirens in the background. If we can fix that.
Alright, so here we have our standings. we have two games have been played where Josian won his game and JB's also won his game. They both have 1 point now. The way this tournament works is that they will play 3 rounds. All 8 players. Are there 8 players or are there the 6 players? They'll play 3 rounds.
The video is missing as well.
Right. This is better.
Yeah.
They will play 3 rounds, where in the first round anyone can play anyone, and after that the winners play against each other. So if you have a win in the first round, you play against someone else who won in the first round in round 2. Then if you lose your first round, you play against someone else who lost in round 2. And after 2 rounds, the players who won both games will play each other in round 3. The players who lost their games will play each other in round 3. And after 3 rounds, we'll see who has the most points. And the best 4 players will then play a playoff, a semi-final, followed by a final for tournament victory.
All right. Last thing is that there's a siren noise in the back. I don't know if it's your computer or
Um, let's quickly
He could have either pushed up the pawn, creating a little pawn chain link, defending his D pawn as well, or he could have brought his knight to D7 or C6, although it would have been pinned. But still, it's protecting the king. He could have brought out his bishop, threatening and protecting as well. Could have. Jen, having some audio problems again. They're unable to hear you.
Alright, I fixed my sound.
All right.
So, Black just
Well,
moved his pawn to a6, attacking
he
this
said he
bishop.
can hear. They said they can't hear neither of us. Is it the Skype or is it?
Yeah, I think I know why. I just have to figure out.
They can hear. They can hear you now. Both of us. All right.
Yeah?
Yes, we're
Okay. Uh,
good.
Thank you for your patience. I guess we're trying to figure out our technical issues as we go along. Um, let's keep looking at the games that our players are playing this morning. Here we have a game between JDL with white and Design with black. And um, we are a couple moves into the game where they attacked each other aggressively, and white just took captured a pawn on e5, and black responded by attacking white's bishop on b5. And white should move this bishop away now from that attack. The bishop is worth 3 points, the pawn is worth 1 point. So this would be a bad trade if white would allow the pawn to take it. And he did allow the pawn to take the bishop, which probably Design did. Yep, there goes the bishop. White did play a very good move strategically, namely castling with his king and get his king off to the side of the board to hide behind these pawns that will form a shield. But he should first have saved his bishop, because that bishop will never make a move again in this game. How do you feel about White's chances now, Gabe?
I feel that White's chances are good as long as he develops his back rank pieces more. When it comes to being castled, he's doing great. He has the great advantage over that. The Black King is no longer able to castle since he pushed up one. So yeah, White has an advantage. He just has to get those pieces off the back rank.
Yeah, White lost the bishop, but his king is much safer. And you're right, if he gets all his pieces in the game quickly, that black king could get into trouble. Um, he moved his pawn to c3. I think maybe another piece should have gone to c3. I think if white would have moved his knight there, then that knight would immediately start attacking these black pawns, and if the knight lands on this d5 square, it would check the black king, and I think that would have been pretty dangerous. So I think c3 is a little bit too slow. Oh, look at that. Design went, his king was the one who's going to show everyone how to fight. Um, that's a very ballsy move. He's now attacking the knight by putting the king in the middle of the board with almost all of white's pieces still in the game. It's a dangerous thing to do. Um,
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm very curious to see what white did next. Okay, white decided, you know what? You attack my knight, I'll move my knight away. And um, black played a pawn to h5. Okay. And white took the pawn in the middle and black took back with the king. Alright, Gabe, what would you do if you're white here?
All right. If I was white, I'm looking to bring out that queen to the B3 space,
Yeah,
checking the king.
that's exactly what I'm looking at. I think that king needs to be attacked with everything white has. So the queen would be a
Yes.
very good first move. Maybe the rook has tried to come to this open file as well.
Yep, right after.
Alright, let's see. Knight to a3. Okay, the knight is attacking the pawn, which has no protection. The rook is also attacking the knight, but the knight still has protection, so the knight is safe. And Josiah protected his pawn with his c6 pawn, so that's pretty good. And here we go. That's a good move. A check on the king, and Josiah took the pawn, and now he moved this other pawn out. I think those are actually pretty good moves, because with that pawn move, this bishop has opened up, and
Yes.
that queen has gotten a bit more space, and this king in the middle is still extremely exposed to the elements. Let's see, rook to h6. This rook is probably looking to get into the game like this, but there might be a little
It's being
problem. The problem is that this rook could be taken by the bishop, and that's
yes.
what JDL did. Very good move. Alright, recapture of the bishop. Uh-oh, and now I see where white got into trouble. I think up to this point he's doing quite well. The black king is right in the middle of the board, where it can be attacked very easily in just a few moves. And black has maybe a little bit more chess pieces in the game, but when you look at these pieces, they're all sitting on the back row where they can't do a whole lot. Um, so I think if white would find a way to go after this king, then I think black would be in some trouble. For example, Gabe, do you see what I want to do when if I would move queen to e2?
Yeah. You're looking. I believe that's a checkmate once you move the queen to e5 on the next move if there's no protection.
That's exactly what I want to do. Also, if you defend that checkmate, maybe you can move your, let's say if you move your bishop out to protect that
To the
checkmate, now the queen can come in from the other side and check the king like that. He's backed up by the white knight, and the king has to walk further into white's position when there's all kinds of checks. I see a pawn moving up with a queen check. I see
You
one
can
rook
bring up
check,
the rook.
other rook check, there's a knight check, there's a ton of queen checks. I think that would have been bad news for black. But what did white do? Oh, I think I lost the game. I saw that white played queen to a4, and after queen a4, design took the queen, and in just one move, this black king suddenly becomes from the most dangerous spot on the board to one of the best spots on the board for the king. When an enemy queen has left the game, the king immediately becomes much safer, and it can be safe almost anywhere on the board. So with the queen on the board, this king is in mortal danger. He, like I showed after queen e2, he might be mated pretty soon. But after the queen gets taken, this black king suddenly becomes very safe because there's no more queen to attack it. and now white is in big trouble. Um, and
Yeah.
I see how Design won this game pretty convincingly from here on out. So this is a one move game basically. If white doesn't give his queen away, I think he is going to win that game. Let me see. They have not started their next round yet. So let's also
Yeah.
take a look at the other game. Which players do we have here, Gabe?
Javius and Brandon D.
All right. Um, let's take a look. Same opening move as the other game. King spawn, moving 2 squares to the middle. That's one of the most popular opening moves in the game of chess. And Javius responded just like Josiah did in the other game. Also king spawn move. And now we see a slightly different move, the move c3. This is actually a very old move, which was played first hundreds of years ago. One of the ideas of that move is to then bring your queen spawn to the middle of the board, so that if black would capture it, you could capture back and get 2 pawns right in the center of the board on d4 and e4. These 4 squares are called the center, and control of the center, having pawns in the center and pieces backing them up, is one of the best strategies in the beginning of a chess game. Have you ever played a move like this, Gabe?
Actually, no. I prefer to get out my knights first. When I put the pawn on c3, it actually blocks the development for my knight. Although after I push the d pawn, I'll be able to move my knight to the d2 square. But I feel like it's too prolonged and too much can happen
Uh-huh.
within side's case. So I don't tend to play that way.
Yeah, you're right. That c pawn is nice to recapture if you get to that, but it does block
If
the
you get
square
to
of the knight.
that.
So let's see. Black did play that quick knight move, which is a very good move. He's now protecting his pawn as well. And white played that pawn push. I'm quite impressed with white's plan, even though not everyone likes it. It actually is a very sound plan. And he almost followed it up. I think he should have recaptured that pawn with his pawn on c3. Instead, he decided to gambit the pawn. A gambit is beginning of a chess, an opening of in a game of chess where one player sacrifices a pawn or more pawns to try to quickly develop his bigger pieces. Let's see how that worked out for white. Black did take that pawn sacrifice and white recaptured. So basically now that white has lost a pawn, he has opened way more space for his pieces. Um, do you like this gambit game?
Mm,
Not so much.
I don't know. Yeah. Um, we would have to move that knight out the way for the bishop. I mean,
Well,
nah, no,
it's
no,
going to
I don't like
depend on what
it.
happens next. It's a bit of an unusual gambit. Um,
Yeah,
so let's see. Aha, black played very aggressively, and he brought out his queen early, and he is targeting this pawn. Um,
that's a great.
so well, that has an upside, namely maybe you'll win that pawn with your queen, but you also have to be careful with your queen. What can happen with your queen when you go out taking stuff early on game?
It can be attacked. It can be taken. It can be threatened.
And yeah, when the queen gets threatened, it's almost always a smaller piece threatening the queen. So the queen is worth 9, and every single piece that white has, except for his own queen, is worth less than that queen. So when a queen gets attacked, almost always it will have to run away. And
Yeah.
that means that if your queen is busy running away, it means you cannot move any other pieces at that time. So it's a little bit of a risky strategy. Let's see if it paid off. Well, it might have paid off because he did save his pawn, but he missed that right behind that pawn is his rook, and Gervais punished that mistake and took that rook. I think black is now looking pretty good. That queen is also attacking this pawn. It is attacking the bishop, but it's protected, so um, let's see how this continues. He moved his knight out, so the bishop opens up, and pretty good
Get his
move.
queen into.
Go ahead.
I said it's looking like he's trying to clear out space for his bishops and his queen as well at the moment. Oh no, I'm sorry for. Sorry, I was speaking for white. For black, he's looking to open up spaces for his bishop. Although the other bishop is blocked, maybe he can get out that bishop and castle on the queen side.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what he's trying to do. Moving this bishop, then the space opens up between the queen and the rook, and you can play that special castling move where in one turn your rook moves 2 squares, your king moves 2 squares, and the rook flips to the other side. That would be pretty good. Let's see if he got to that. He might not have. White moved his pawn 2 spaces to g4 and actually allowed the bishop to take it, which he happily did. Now this bishop is aiming at the knight, and behind it is a queen. So that means if this knight moves, that bishop takes the queen. In chess we call this a pin. The bishop is pinning the knight to the queen. And pinned pieces are usually not happy at all because they cannot really move without losing something big. And that might be happening here. The knight did move, and Gervais did take the queen. Alright, the king recaptures, and now this game is in dire straits for white. He's down a queen, and his king is not very safe anymore. And black decided to develop his knight. That's pretty good. He might be looking at getting his knight into the game like this. And if he gets there, then he will be checking the king, attacking the rook. White developed his other knight. That was pretty good. And here we've got an attack of a pawn on a knight.
Yes.
The knight retreats, and let's see, what would you do with black here, Gabe?
With black, in this moment, I might try to get my knights on c6 involved, as well as pushing up that d pawn to get my bishop involved. I can maybe even fianchetto it to the g file, linking it with the queen, creating an even greater threat. Bringing down my h knight as well to g4 maybe, or getting
So
him more involved.
there's a lot of ideas for black, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
the one I like best is actually trying to go after this king as quickly as possible. When
Okay.
you're up a queen and this one's material, you should try to use that to go after the king. And the king has one big defender left, that's the bishop. The bishop is standing in between the queen and the king. So actually, I do see a way to try to go after this bishop as quickly as possible. Which move do you think I like best of the ones you mentioned? I
The
think,
push of the pawn,
yeah, the push of the pawn is the one I like best. Because
so
when
that
white takes that pawn, this bishop opens up and comes down to put pressure on that bishop on c1.
yes,
But I see that Gervais did play a move that I like equally well, namely he did move that bishop to g7 And that bishop is ready to come down this diagonal and put pressure on this bishop. White developed his bishop, pretty good move. And black castled. Do you think he should have castled? Game?
Yes, he should have castled, but not on the king side. On the queen side, it would have been perfect.
You like it better here, yeah? Like
But
that.
as well as I've been saying, there's no need to castle once the other opponent's queen is off of the board.
Yeah, I mean this king is completely safe really because there's no white queen anymore. And for white to attack that king with like all his pieces, that's going to take a bit of magic. Not to say it's almost impossible. So when your enemy's queen is off the board, you don't really need to castle anymore. Although it's not a bad move, it was not a necessary move. He did.
I've just gotten word that the next round has started.
Alright, then we're almost through this game. Let's quickly go through the end and then go to the games that they're playing right now. Because this game is, I think, almost over. Alright, this d5 move happened. I think he's looking for the rook to get into the action. And that is what's going to happen. There you go. Discovered attack with the rook. Very strong play by black. And another discovered attack. And here we go, it's checkmate. Alright, very good game. Let's go to the current games. The second round has just started. I'm putting those games up. And I believe these are the two games that we have. Alright, Gabe, what do you think about this game between Jishan and Jariel?
So far, I'm liking Jishan start, being aggressive, coming out with the knight and the bishop, looking the castle. And I also do like chess club rebuttals. I like how he's threatening that pawn on a d file, as well as he threatened that bishop that was coming to attack, and he didn't stand down. He threatened it with the bishop as well.
Uh-huh.
So looking like a good.
I think it is looking like a good game. White just developed this knight and is attacking this pawn on d5 that has no protection. So black should be looking to defend, and he just did. I think he played the best move because in one move he protects that pawn and he opens up this bishop to protect that pawn. When you can play one move and do two things or more at the same time, that's usually pretty good. What do you think about this last pawn push with e4?
I like it because it's opening up the space for the development of the bishop and creating some conflict in the middle. It's defended pretty well, so it should be all right. Um, Other than that, we see the knight comes in and for black, tries to apply more pressure. Um,
Yeah, I like the action in the center. Alright, now things go wrong for black because he just captured a bishop that was protected. Actually, this is a critical moment in the game because this, like you mentioned, he opened the bishop to attack the queen, which he did. But at this particular moment, actually, it's not so good because even though the bishop is protected by the knight right now, black here has an in-between move that removes the defender of this bishop. So this is what we call removing the defender by capturing the defender. So this knight can come down, take white's knight, and because it's check, white does not have time to take black's queen with the bishop. So black takes a knight
yeah,
with check, white recaptures with the pawn or the queen, and then black can
and
take this bishop.
yep,
So this was a big turnaround because he just switched it around, took the bishop immediately, and now the knight took the queen. Alright, so that's not a great start for black, but let's see if he can rebound. He did pretty well. He immediately attacked that knight, which ran away, which is a good move. And now he creates more pressure on that pawn on e4, which maybe well, actually, well, maybe it's a pretty good move. Let's see. Queen check. Okay, what's your first thought, Gabe? How do you defend against this queen check?
Immediately pushing the G7 pawn to G6.
Yep,
Best bet and threats. Nothing you can do better than that.
yeah, that's a sweet block because you're also attacking the queen, and the queen has to run away, which he did. But
Yes.
I'm afraid it might have been an unfortunate square. Look at this knight.
Oh,
So white
the
missed that
knight.
the knight can take it, but black missed it as well, and he took this pawn. Now the good thing is he still has a lot of attacks going on, and he should get something back here soon. White should still try to move this queen if he sees the attack by the knight. I don't think he did yet, and he played pawn to f3. The bishop came out, and we had an exchange on e4. In the meantime, white finally saved this queen from the attack of the knight, and that queen is doing
Yes.
something that black better see. Do you see what I see, Gabe?
I'm seeing that rook take. Oh, the fork
The fork,
for
but
black.
I have a lot of protection on that c2 square.
Yep. So he's all right.
He should be alright, but it's and he does find the best move. But um, especially when you start out playing chess, when you get checked, usually you don't look at whether you can actually take the piece that's checking you. The first instinct for most chess players is to move the king when it's under attack. Alright, black attacked the queen, but like you mentioned, the queen is attacking the rook, and the rook has no protection.
It's looking
So,
like he's gonna have two free rooks. Actually, more than one.
oh yeah, he could take the rook, the king has to move away, and alright, I think this game is looking pretty good for white. I want to take a look at the other game as well.
Yep. Let's do so.
And this is the game between Jazine and Brandon, and this looks like a very tough fight. Um, what do you think, Gabe?
Um, the bishops are looking pretty good. Other than the fact that that e pawn is in the middle of the way, maybe we can get rid of that. Although it's defended twice. Once we get rid of that, we got the bishops on two great diagonals. Get the knight more involved, bring in the queen, and the fight should be starting.
Uh-huh.
But as of now, it looks pretty congested for whites.
Yeah, this
And
this pawn on e4 is blocking a lot of stuff, but also it's under a lot of pressure. Yeah, it's white has developed more pieces. White has developed one, two, three, four big pieces, and black now matched it with his last move. So
yep,
this is this is looking a pretty close battle. The one thing I would notice is that black is up two pawns,
yes.
um, which should be pretty good. And now he's up three pawns. He just took the one pawn that white offered.
Black
So
is also castle, um, as well as he can look to advance that bishop out and cause more threats on the other side.
yeah, he could have moved it out. He just blocked it with his knight. But I I can see that those knights could do some dangerous things. That is one thing. He's attacking the rook, and white is protecting the rook. Black should still take the rook because the rook is 5 and the knight is 3. And he should be careful that he doesn't allow this rook to come down and take that bishop. So I would either castle the king and get the rook involved, or I would take There he goes. He takes the rook.
Yep.
One thing we discussed in the lesson yesterday was the need to get kings castled when there's queens on the board. When queens on the board, kings are usually very unsafe in the middle files, the E and the D file, and they need to go sort of hide behind a bunch of pawns. And both players should be trying to do that. Let's see if black does that on the next turn. Actually, he plays a pretty interesting move. Do you see what he wants to do?
But yes, threaten that queen.
He was threatening the queen ran away, but uh-oh,
Well,
we've got some heavy action on the diagonal. The bishop could have taken the queen, but now the queen can take the bishop.
but
He
he
thought,
runs for
let's run.
smart move by white.
I think the game is way too difficult to call. It's a very tight
Yeah.
game. And white should be trying to get some pieces into the action. He gives a check. That's not bad. King moves over. Queen check. And now he has to block. The king has no more escape squares because they're both covered. So he has to block.
Which,
And he blocks with his bishop. That's a pretty good move. What do you think? Should white take that bishop?
not at the moment. I think he has a pretty good hold right now. What I think he should do is try to get those knights involved. Add another attacking piece onto that black bishop that's pinned, and once you get enough attacking pieces, then you'll be able to take.
Yeah. He played actually a very good move. He moved his queen out to attack this knight that had no protection. And black played a very
Yes.
good move in response. He moved the rook to protect the knight. And I think you're right. He should not have taken yet. He should have tried to put more pressure on that bishop. Although he can now try to put more pressure on the knight. What I would really like is to get this knight out, castled, and this rook to join the queen on that file. Uh-oh. I see a game changer on the board. And black takes the queen that was offered. And I'm afraid Design is having a problem that he will not recover from. Yeah, he lost his queen, and this queen is still very aggressive. It's attacking a rook, it's now attacking a pawn. This king could easily be attacked, maybe if the queen could come down to this first rank.
Right now, it's looking very good for Brennan.
I think there's a threat of bringing the queen down to check, and it's almost made. So maybe white's last chance is to get that king out of the way, which he is doing. The queen could still come down. There it goes. The king probably is coming out. Now watch out for the rook attacking the queen. The king is protecting the rook, so the rook is safe. Very good move. He moved the queen away, and now he's attacking this lonely knight, which needs backup. Someone needs to protect that knight, because I'm sure Brandon will take it if it's not protected. Very good move. Defending the knight by using the other knight. Now if I could
Brennan
somehow get rid of this
had
knight.
the game. Or maybe push down those pawns on FG and H, creating an open file or semi-open file for the rook. to be able to get into the game as well.
If this rook could get in the game, that would be bad news to the white king. I think black's last moves are pretty good as well. He was attacking this rook, now he's using the bishop to attack the knight. And there's just a lot of pressure on the few white pieces white still has. I would also like to get this rook into the action. Alright, he is using his other rook. Actually, black is playing quite well now. He's using all of his pieces to join the attack on the white king. And when that happens and you're missing some pieces, usually you're not going to survive that. Again, a very good move. And a good move in reply. The knight is protecting the rook and the rook is protecting the knight. So these guys are helping each other out for now. But if black could get one more attacker involved, that might soon end.
Agreed.
Let's see. This white has maybe one chance. What do you think might that chance be?
White's chance could be. I don't know. Do you see any for real?
I the only chance I see is surviving 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Yeah,
only chance
I agree.
see.
That's his best.
Um,
Maybe trying to force a stalemate, get rid of all his pieces, and run for the last few minutes.
yeah, I guess those two are the only the best chances white still has. If you're in this much trouble, when you're down that many pieces and your king is slowly getting exposed to those pieces, your best chances are trying to win on time or losing all your pieces so that your opponent can stalemate you. So
Yeah.
if you have a position where you've got only a king left, or you've got only pieces left that have no more legal moves, then the game ends in a tie. This happens a lot, especially when someone is up a lot of material. That can easily happen. I think black is playing extremely well. He is just using all his pieces to gang up, and there he goes. This white king is now starting to feel the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you already see a mate? I'm not seeing one yet, but it should be pretty close now.
We have to get rid of that E pawn, that E knight. Yes. Get rid of that knight, then we can swoop in there, get more checks in, bring the queen in as well.
Yeah, maybe the queen can try to immediately switch sides from the queen's side. So the left side of the board is the queen's side and the right side the king's side. I think he found maybe another way to do that. Maybe he wants to do something like this or like that.
Discover check.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, he actually did something that's very strong. He got rid of that bishop that was defending. Now if the queen gets involved and switches with check to the other side, it should be game over pretty quickly. What is he thinking? Maybe move the pawn up and get the queen there for a checkmate? That would be pretty impressive if that's his idea. Alright, this is pretty good too. Queen
Yeah.
moves in. We're getting into the checkmating zone. White has only two options, and now the queen has to move in. Oh, he used the bishop. Very good.
Nice. Way to get all your pieces included,
Yeah.
Brennan. That's what I like to see.
I think if I'm white, I'm hoping I can still lose my rook and knight in time to get a stalemate, but I'm afraid it might not happen. Well, he's still holding on. 44, 43, 42 seconds. Moving in his knight. I like that move a lot. That knight is taking away some escape squares.
Yes, yeah.
It's getting tight now though. 35 seconds to checkmate. What do you think? Is he gonna do it?
Yes, I think he pulls it out.
Let's see, it's going to be a very close call. He's just piling up that pressure. White is checking the king, trying
Okay.
to bring that clock down. He should probably just check again. Just give up the rook and
Yep.
check. Alright, now I think he's gonna come down on e3. He's just, oh, he's moving the king. Check, check. Very good. This is going to the wire. This is going to the wire. He should just check and give the rook. Very good, very good. Alright. If he doesn't take that rook, he's gonna lose on time.
Oh wow. He had the chance to take it on that
Alright,
last move as
now,
well.
yeah, he knows it. I have to get my king out of the way. Just give up the rook with check. Those are tricks that you learn along the way. When you're trying to win on time, it doesn't really matter anymore whether you're going to keep your pieces. Now it might be made in two.
One move away. Two
Uh-oh,
moves away.
uh-oh, he can still
Yep.
block. Is he gonna find a blocking move in time? He did.
Yep.
Oh, and
And
there
he
it
wins.
goes.
Uh,
Wow. I mean, Black played a great game, and White pulled that out by the skin of his teeth. Um, I mean, I could clearly see at some point White really decided that he still had a good chance on the clock, and he started giving those checks with his rook, and then Black just, it's just when you have only seconds left, it's very difficult to still find those good moves and try to um, neutralize your opponent's plans.
yes, I love Jazan's mindset. Once he seen that his opponent was running down on time, he took the initiative to continuously check over and over with his rook, running down his time, taking away moves from him to be able to checkmate his king, and it paid off. Paid off in the end very well.
Um,
Congratulations on.
yeah, he made a nice comeback from the first round. Let's see the other game. It finished a while ago.
Yep.
Let's see where we left it off. Um, okay, this is where we left it off. I think this is the last move I saw on the board. And White is attacking the queen with the pawn, but the problem is that the queen can move away and take the bishop. Now the queen is turning the tables, and he starts attacking these two, the knight and pawn that are not protected. And Black responded by moving his knight and attacking the queen. So they're actually playing a pretty good game of attack and defense. This is some of the things we've talked about quite a bit, where you just use your pieces to create attacks on enemy pieces and how to defend against that. And now it's paying off for Black, because White did not see his queen was under attack by the knight, and Black takes it. So it's a bit of a game changer. In this position, White is in great shape. If he moves his queen, for example, to this square, away from the knight, and then attacks the rook, um, Black might not survive that much longer. Alright, so he castles. Do you see what he's threatening, Gabe? It's a bit of a surprising threat.
Yep. The rook and the queen link. Would that be checkmate? It looks like it would be.
It would be if the queen moves there. The rook and the queen, they're linking up on the square on f8. And if the queen could get there, it's checkmate. It's not often you see someone castle and then creating a mating threat in one move. That's very unusual. So the idea is great. The only problem is that Black has a very good defense, and that is to take the queen. And now there's no more mating threat. The queen is gone, and the king instantly becomes safe. Alright, but when you make a mistake, everyone makes mistakes. I've made more mistakes in my chess life than all these players will do combined in their first year of chess. And by making mistakes is how you get better. You learn from your mistakes, you try not to make them again. And the best way to get chess is just to play a lot. Um, I bet you played a lot in those first years that when you started playing chess game.
Yes. I would continuously go to chess lessons and chess classes with Dig USA. Um, just continuously working with my coach, Josh Tate.
Uh huh.
We would just Josh Dash. I'm sorry. We would continuously study older grandmaster games and just continuously um, work on improving my game by when I would take down notations at these tournaments, we would go over these games, see what my weaknesses are, see where my strengths were, improve on my strengths, and fix my weaknesses, and just becoming more aggressive and becoming more uh, confident with the way I was playing,
Uh huh.
and that helped to become the chess player I am today.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly paid off that all that work. And I mean, the most important thing is just start playing, putting yourself out there, making those moves, and um, then if you have someone who can show you, you know, the way around, how you can get better, what maybe some mistakes you made, that will really help your game. Um, let's see if they continue to play a pretty good game of attack and defense. I like Black's last move because he's attacking this pawn that has no protectors, and I'm curious to see if White decided to save the pawn. He did not. He created a counter attack on this pawn, which now has two attackers, the knight and the rook, and only one defender. So now black has a choice. Maybe he can help his pawn, protect it with the king. Maybe he's going to just take white's pawn. Let's see what he did. He took white's pawn and he's attacking the white bishop. So now it's getting a little tricky. Um, White said, well, you know what? I'll take this, which could be a very clever move. I think I see what he wants to do if the rook takes the bishop. What? Is he just giving that bishop away, or does white have a good move there?
I don't see a good move for White to be able to protect that bishop, but I believe White was looking to get his knight taking, take back with the rook with check, and then get back another piece with the knight on h6. So I
Um,
guess he was looking at equal trade as well as when he was losing his bishop and knight.
I think this knight e6 move was actually one of the best moves I've seen today so far. Um, this knight could drop back. If the rook takes the bishop, then the knight drops back with check and takes the rook. And in the game, it was taken, and the rook took with check. And now when the king moves, he takes. He could have taken the knight, but he checks again. And actually, he played
Save three.
very well. I do see we have
Yeah.
a game going on. Let me click on
Yeah.
that game. See, it just started. Let me also pull up,
Yeah.
see if I have to the recent standings. Alright, I don't think they have updated yet. Alright, Gabe, talk us through this game between Brandon and Jashawn.
So far, it's looking like Brandon is looking to gain that center establishment, which is with his three pawns on the D, E, and F file. And Brandon is looking to castle on the queen side, if so. If not, he's just looking to develop his pieces as well. Right now, he's looking at, I'm sorry, Jashawn is looking to develop his pieces as well. Brandon has a good central control. I'm liking how Brandon is starting out. Both of them are playing pretty passively right now, just looking to advance their pieces into the middle. So we'll see where this game takes us.
Yeah, I really like this pawn center that you mentioned. These pawns are attacking all these squares on the 5th rank. So this is the 5th rank. These pawns are attacking all these squares, making sure that black's pieces cannot come to those squares. So black's position is a little cramped. He doesn't have a lot of space for his pieces. He just made a pretty good move. He attacked the bishop, and the bishop retreated from that attack, which I think was very good. Now black continues to develop, as you mentioned. That's what he seems to be doing. And I think maybe white should try to do that as well. Uh-oh, we've got a knight attack on the queen, but is it safe?
Yes, it is because the bishop on c1 can just take.
I think white will have to find that move, and he does. Okay, now white is pretty safe. The knight has been evicted from the board, from the middle of his position, and I don't really see much. Maybe black can try a move like this to attack the knight, but if I were... Alright, he decides to go at the white pawn center. This is a pretty interesting move, because these pawns will now no longer be next to each other. That's for sure.
Yep. Decides to retreat.
I think it paid off.
Now Jashawn is looking to create some problems for Brandon, forcing him to bring his pieces back.
Yeah, so now there's only one knight out in the game, and black has 1, 2, 3 of his bigger pieces into the game. So this white king is feeling a little unsafe now. If I could somehow get a piece to this d5 square, like the bishop or the queen, and then have a check and open up this diagonal to the right rook, that would be pretty sweet. That's a tricky move. He is attacking this pawn, but the pawn could take. Already missed it, but that would have been interesting to see what would happen there. Alright, he withdraws his bishop.
Looks like they're both continuing to play it safe.
Uh-huh. Which side would you prefer? White with the extra piece or black with the better development?
I take black with the better development because he still has potential to put his pieces on the right spaces. When it comes to white, he's unable to castle, which could be a problem, seeing that both queens are still on the board. White as well, it just seems to be stagnant, just going back and forth with the same moves.
Yeah,
Black has some open, he can get his bishop out, so we'll see what's gonna happen.
that bishop has been gone back and forth between those two c1 and e3 squares a lot. I mean, he did take a knight there, he took a pawn there, so the bishop is worth his weight, that's for sure. But at some point, you want to get this king out of this open file. Maybe he'll find a way to do that now. He's bringing his knight back into the game, that's pretty good. But I see a bishop that's under attack and has no protection. So if white spots that, that would be... no, well, he spots it. That's not good for black's attack. That bishop was very strong, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
But I do like how he rebounded from losing that bishop. He got his king castled, and now he's trying to look at his rooks to maybe get into a good position. He's building up some pressure on that pawn, which should be taken, I guess.
And Brandon actually just blocked his second defender of the pawn, so Jashawn should be looking to take with that rook and apply more force, maybe double up with the second rook.
Like that. Well, we just saw the bishop come back again. What's this knight going to do? Is the second knight going to try to invade? It is. The bishop is probably going to take it. but the queen can recapture. Aha, he does not take. He gives this knight a chance, and the knight takes it. But when that king moves and attacks the knight, looks like that knight is trapped. Where's the knight going?
Then I can. Not really much spaces. Yeah,
That's,
don't really know.
the knight did take a bishop, but all these squares where it wants to go to are all protected by white's pieces. So looks like he's not going to save that knight.
In my opinion, I'm looking to take that pawn on f4,
Just get a pawn
exchanging the
for it.
knight for. Yes.
He maybe should be doing that. On the other hand, maybe he can use the time it will take white to take this knight to get like another piece into a better position. Alright, this is an interesting move. He takes that pawn in the middle of the board, which is quite dangerous because now this file has opened up for the rook. So he has some interesting moves actually. Maybe he could take the knight so the queen can come down to this square. Maybe he can move the knight there. Maybe he should play c5 to... Alright, queen c5. I actually like that move. Now he's starting to attack. Put a lot of pressure on this knight. And you see a way for white to hold the knight?
No, not anymore.
Alright, the last move actually really could have changed the outcome of this game. We'll after the game we'll take a look at that. What just happened. For now, let's see if black can find a way to use his pieces to put more pressure on that white king. I kinda like this move because maybe he's looking to come out on this diagonal. There you go. He's trying to
Yes, yeah.
find ways to check that king. Alright, a good blocking move.
If I'm black, I'm looking to get that second rook involved because I do not have much pieces to work with. So maybe try to take over the D and E file with the two rooks, which is what he's looking
I think he's listening. Well, he's not listening to you. Well, at least I hope not.
to.
But yeah, he should be doing that. Now this rook should team up with the other rook. Alright, I think he's got some other plans. Maybe he wants to switch that rook and attack this pawn on h2. I mean, that would be impressive if he saw that in like a split second. He did.
Did.
Oh, and
Wow.
white gave him a soft spot and he immediately went after it. Now this pawn is under attack. Probably he should just move up and get protection from the other pawn.
Agreed.
That was an impressive maneuvering. He doesn't. Uh-oh. This
Oh,
could spell disaster.
This could be. Yep.
This could be big news. This rook is not only checking the king, it's also skewering the king to the white queen. So the king has to move out of the way. I don't know where it will move, and then the rook could take the queen. Also, when this king moves away from the protection of the rook, and this queen could come in over there. First, he should take this queen. That would be bad news. He gives an out, and white finds the out.
Oh.
That was a big chance. Well, it's still not over, by the way. I mean, he's still attacking with his queen and rook, and this king is looking pretty exposed. Like maybe that other rook could get into the action now.
Should be time to get that other rook in there now.
Uh-oh.
He has another chance. Oh.
I think white should take that queen off the board before it's too late. Will he take the queen now? That's the big question. This is the critical moment. Oh, they both missed that this white queen was under attack. Let's see if black can still come up with some sort of an attack with his other rook now.
Okay, now I'm feeling much better for white in this game, especially since black just lost his second rook.
Yeah, this could be trouble. Um, he's still trying to find a way for his queen and rook to get to that white king, but the white king might be able to just go to that b2 square and be surrounded by every single other white piece. Uh, I mean, they missed a few things, but I'm quite impressed with how black just keeps attacking with whatever he's got left and tries to keep putting pressure. Now, if he loses one more piece, I'm afraid that might be the end of that. Um,
Yeah,
White and white is now grouping together. Look at the
that's a great move. White.
yeah, look at all these pieces. They're now surrounding the white king, giving it all the protection it needs. And
Yeah, while attacking as well.
I think I agree that black is gonna run out of steam here. He's looking where to put that queen. That queen has to be careful that he doesn't allow the black white rook to come down. Okay, it's a good move. Protecting that square and also maybe looking for yet another way to attack that white king.
In my opinion, I believe black has came to the end of the road. He had his chances, he missed it. Now it's white. Now it's time for white to become more aggressive and use his pieces to check me.
Um, I think black's only chance might soon be the clock. So I agree. It's a pretty funny move. Did he play that move to try to see if black would take it so that the rook can come down? That would be pretty impressive. Black played a very good move attacking that rook, but spotted by Brandon. He immediately moved the rook away. Uh-oh, mate alert, mate alert. The queen has finally given up the protection of this d8 square. And we could have a back rank mate coming soon.
As soon as he sees it.
As soon as he sees it, yeah. Um, I mean,
I
this
paid
idea to get the other rook into the game is not bad. But of course, mate in one would finish the game. Let's see who's the
the
first
king is
one to spot that.
still has a chance to pull it off.
Yeah, it's very common for both players to both miss the same tactic. It also happens at professional chess level, sort of like a mutual blind spot, if you will. But at some point, someone is going to see it. I think White is probably now that he's moving this rook, he's probably seeing that he can check with it. I I think he's going to see
Go
it.
ahead, buddy. That'll be the end of the game. Take your chances, Brandon. Take your chances.
There it is. One
There it
more move
is.
to block,
Yep. One
and then
protection and
I think we're there. This was a
great game.
pretty good game. Black just kept
Yeah.
putting pressure on the white king, and white just kept holding on for dear life. And then finally, he managed to overcome the pressure, and the first attack on the black's king is the one that proved fatal.
Yeah.
There it is, the blocking move, and there is the checkmate. Very good game. Let's see if what that does to the standings. They have not been updated yet, but they probably will soon. I'm gonna take you back to a moment about 10-15 moves ago.
I believe it was move 30.
Not quite yet. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was this moment. So Black is using all his might to try to go after White's king, and that will continue to be dangerous as long as Black has a queen. If Black has no queen left, he's losing his by far his most dangerous attacker, and without a queen it's very difficult to checkmate a king. So since Black is down 3 pieces, 2 knights and a bishop, the one thing he should try to avoid at all cost is trading or losing his queen. So in this position he is attacking this knight, and he has to make a choice how to take it. But since he does not want to trade queens or lose his queen, he should not take with the queen. He should actually take with the rook to make sure that his queens stay on the board. The problem with taking with the queen is that White should now get rid of this queen and take it and trade it. And once that black queen is gone, this king is suddenly very safe, and White can try to use his extra 2 pieces to maybe be the first one to get another queen by getting a pawn across. So it's sort of a mistake for Black to allow his queen to be traded, and White made the same mistake. He should have traded. Instead, he moved his queen to safety. But it would have been very much safer for White to trade queens and get his king safe. So this game got critical right about here, where I think it took Jishan like a second to play this rook d6 move, which was quite impressive because he noticed that this white king moves away from the protection of this pawn. They're now separated, and he immediately maneuvered his rook to go attack this pawn. And White did not defend against it and could have lost the game quickly. I think I mentioned maybe White should move this pawn up so it's protected by this pawn. Instead he moved his bishop, and this is where the game could have ended very quickly. Now Black should have taken the queen. Now he's attacking the knight and the rook. Do you see a way to defend both for White?
Absolutely not. There's no way to defend both.
I think he might have a way still.
But I mean, you can defend the knight with the rook by moving the bishop, but other than that, the rook won't be defended at all.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you move the bishop to defend the knight with the rook, the problem is that you're not helping your rook. So I think you're right. I don't think there is a way to defend both. You can try to move your knight and block the attack, but the problem is that you can just take it. So White is just gonna lose another piece, and if he has to choose between losing a knight and a rook, you should try to not lose your rook. But even that doesn't look that easy at all here. Actually, I hardly see a good move for White, because Black is also trying to take the knight with the queen, and then actually win the white rook in the corner as well. So what would be a good move here? I just don't know. I think this is big trouble for White. Well, do you see any decent move for White?
Alright. If I were White, yeah, my best bet would be to, and in this case, I'd probably just look to protect or save my rook, and just give up my knight, even though that would cause a check on me. But when the queen takes, so yeah, I would just probably move the bishop, and oh no, because that doesn't defend the rook. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot. I think
Yeah.
it looks like queen taking knight is a bigger problem than queen taking the rook
And queen
because
take.
of this
Mm-hmm.
guy here.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you're right. Maybe we have to just move the bishop, protect this knight, and give up the rook. But now the next question is what to do next. I see this rook coming in, and it practically checkmate. So, oh, this is I don't really see a way to defend this for white. When this
The
rook
next
lands on
best move
e8,
for white would be to resign.
say again.
I said the next best move for white would be to resign.
Um, that is true in many cases. For now, I advise every single chess player um, participating today to never ever resign. Um, but yeah, if I'm white, I'm resigning here. But then again, I've played so many games in my life that if I get into this position with white, I know I'm going to lose. But once you learn how the thousands of ways you can get checkmated, once you know all those ways, then you can start resigning the game. Until then, play on until you get checkmated. That said, I don't see a way for white to avoid checkmate because there's a rook on a8 that has not made a single move yet. Is just ready to come in and deliver the fatal blow along this e-file. Um, for example, if I try to use I don't get my rook to a better square, then this rook comes in, and this king has no escape square, and the only way to defend is to put something in between the king and the rook. But whatever I put there, let's say if I put my bishop, then the rook could come down, and if I put my knight, then another piece could come down. So
Checkmate.
yeah, I think this was the critical moment in the game where things could have gone either way. Had black found, had black seen that the white queen was hanging, I think the game would have been won by black. But black didn't, and then finally white managed to survive the attack and win the game.
Yep.
I think the standings are getting updated soon. Um, we're going on a brief break and we'll be right back.
Are we muted on the stream? What's going on?
Alright, here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Right now, let's take a look at the standings. It looks as if we have Javius Gonzalez and Jazion Gonzalez in the lead with 2 wins. Jashawn had a bypass for round one. Jadale had a bye for 2. Brandon had a bye for 3. Javius had a bye for 4. And Jazion had a bye for 5. So right now, the top 3 seem to be Jashawn Gonzalez, Javius Gonzalez, and Jazion Gonzalez. Congrats to those 3. As we continue to look at the tournament, right now we're taking a look at Brandon D's game versus Chess Club Jr. At the moment, it looks as if Chess Club Jr. has the aggressive advantage, as well as he's castled, so his structure is pretty good. His pieces are developed, his rooks are linked, and he's on the attack with the queen. As we see with the black pieces, they look a little bit disoriented. The queen and the bishop hasn't been developed yet, which could be a problem in the near future, seeing that the bishop is blocked by the king. He does have one side to go to. And as well as I seen that Brandon also opened up that file for his rook on the B file. While we're looking at Chess Club Junior, we see that he has an check. He has a check awaiting, which could be very threatening and potential to being a checkmate paired up with the queen. If we're able to get that knight off that square. Okay, now as we see, he's bringing in his bishop, threatening the knight, which, if eliminated, can cause some problems, which he does. And checkmate. There we have it. Chess Club Junior comes in to the E file, with his rook, and checkmates. There he was able to bring that bishop out, eliminate the protection, and once that was taken away, brought that rook in, checked. There's no other pieces that are able to block, so that is checkmate. Now let's move on to the next game. Take a look at what's going on that board. Okay. So, as we're looking at this game, it seems as if black is the aggressor in this case. You might have to be careful, seeing that the knight is threatening that rook there on the E file, as well as threatening the pawn on F6 with a fork between the queen and the king. Now we see Javius causing a disruption with the bishop, but Jashawn does discover the fork, and now we're looking at some big problems for Javius. Clearly, the king has to move out of the way. Jashawn will not miss his advantage to take that queen. I'm sure of it. If I'm Jashawn, I'm looking to get that rook involved by pushing up that pawn on F4 to F5, as well as getting my bishop from being under attack, which he just did, causing more mayhem, putting him on a very good open file. Let's see if we can get there. There goes the move. And looking to take back with the knight. Once moved, will cause a discover check, which could be some grave danger for Javius. And here goes Jashawn. I'm sorry, Javius, looking to add some pressure onto Jashawn by threatening that bishop. And there goes the discover the chat attack. Now we have a threat towards the bishop on b5, the rook on e8, and the king. While the king moves out of the way, it looks like if I'm Jashawn, I'm looking to bring up my rook or move my rook out the way. I'm sorry. As well as you can eliminate the threat with the bishop. That was a great move. Maybe skewer the king with the rook. Now, I don't know if I like this move by Jashawn due to the fact that it can be taken by the bishop. Maybe you didn't see that. Good effort, though. Good effort. Here comes the skewer coming in. I like this move a lot, seeing that we're continuously trying to apply that pressure on the king. We can bring over the other rook. Yep, which he does, causing more mayhem and havoc upon the black king. If I'm Jashawn, I'm looking to double up on the attack of that D pawn. I mean, of that D rook with the bishop before I take. But he looks to have taken first in an aggressive manner. Now he brings in the bishop to check, moving that king away, hopefully moving that king away from the rook in order to take it for free, but it doesn't look like that'll be happening. Javius can make something happen. Great move by Jashawn. If he were to be taken by the other rook, there would be no way of defending, making a checkmate. So now Javius is looking to get that rook off. Ooh, this might be it. Checkmate. There we go. Great play by Javius, constantly applying pressure onto that rook on the back rank file, getting it off of the file, and getting in that his rook to checkmate the king in the corner. Great game by both guys. Great game. The last round will be starting at 11:25.
Welcome back to the stream of the second Harvard Public Library tournament. We've just started the last round, and right now the tournament leaders are Gervais and Design with Gervais with 3 wins and 0 losses. In second place we have Design with 2 wins. And then in third, fourth, and fifth place, with 1 win each, are Jashan, Jadiel, and Brandon. So we should start following Design's Javius's game, because if he wins, it means he will win the tournament. He's playing with white against Jadiel, and I'll flip the board so we look at it from his perspective behind the white pieces. The game just started. And we see some action along the d-file, 2 queens attacking each other. If those queens are traded, the kings will be safe for quite a while, which means that this will be a long game, and time might become an important factor. Jawai still says, well, I don't want to trade queens yet. If you do, you can do it, and I'll just recapture. And neither player obviously wants to trade queens. White castles, pretty good move. Black is getting ready to castle as well, but has to be careful. This queen is now piled up with 2 pieces, and Device immediately pounces on it. I think he'll take again with a rook and win a knight. So this is pretty good, but he has to be careful because these 3 pieces in the left bottom corner are still on their starting squares and not doing a whole lot. The only piece that's really doing a lot is this white rook. So with that alone, he's not going to win the battle. So we're looking to see if white is going to get his other pieces in the game as well. For now, he starts a 2-fold attack with the rook and the knight on this pawn. And let's see if black will find a way to defend against that.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Uh, Big development just now. Um, let's see what just happened. I just talked about the fact that White's pieces in the bottom left corner were stuck there and not making any moves yet and not being part of the game. And White went on a attack on the f7 square and moved his knight there. But after the rook opposed the rook and allowed a capture, James made one mistake. He moved his rook out of the way, allowing this rook to come down and create a checkmate. And this means that now that he has lost his game, it's all up to Design to see if he can catch up. If he wins the game, he will have the same number of points. And Gabe, what do you think? How is Design's position looking?
Uh, with Design's position, it's to me it's very open. Like I like how the pieces are still have a lot of mobility. Um, but he seems to be cut off by Jashawn's bishops on the A file, although I don't like them there. But they're doing a good job concealing the king from being able to move. Now all he needs is just that one piece to cause that check and just lock him in the corner in that attack, and the rest is history.
Yeah, White is in decent shape with with the number of pieces and his material, but you're right. These bishops are looking into the position, and now he's actually using a bishop to create a double attack on the
Yeah.
two rooks, which means that whatever White does on the next turn, that bishop can take a rook. Now White should move one of his rooks to protect the other one, which is what he does. Now Black can choose if he wants to take a rook, and if so, which rook he wants to take. He doesn't have to take one yet, because still both rooks are under attack. A move what I would like to play is rook d8 and set up this rook on the same file as the white king, so that if this bishop then moves, there he does. I mean, this is a very strong move. Um, this could create a problem if white doesn't react well, and I'm not sure what he should do actually. That might have been a pretty good move. Let's see what kind of discovered check Jishan gives. He does that. Okay, not bad. He takes the rook, and the white king should recapture the bishop. Maybe the black knight can jump in. There it goes. If the bishop takes, he does not. He moves it, and now there's another discovered attack on tap. If this knight moves and away, it's check, and then he can attack the rook with the knight and win that rook. And he does that. This actually is a very good game so far. Well played by black. The white king was in some trouble, and black is making use of that as well as he possibly could, and he keeps attacking those white pieces. Now he wants the bishop, which should move away. Uh-oh, he's moving into the path of the pawn. He didn't see it, and now there will be some pawns being taken. It's still going to be difficult for black to win because he doesn't have a lot of checkmating pieces left, but black should be in the driver's seat here. As long as he keeps that rook alive and manages to get rid of these white pawns, then things are not looking good for white. And he does just that. He might be ready to double attack and win the last white pawn. What do you think? Is black going to bring the bacon home?
I believe so. I'm liking Black plan with as he knows he's up right now. He's looking to exchange those pieces, get all the white pieces off of the board, so it'd make it easier for him to checkmate. While if I was Jashawn though, if I was black, I would be looking to save maybe one of my pawns because it is difficult to checkmate with bishop and rook. by themselves. So maybe try to protect one of the pawns, get it down the board, turn it into a queen or another rook, and use that to checkmate. As well as if I'm Design, I'm looking to get rid of all the pieces I can and force a stalemate.
Um,
It's gonna be 3 minutes left on the clock. Let's
yeah,
see what's happening.
that might be his only chance at this point. Um, I think Jishan did a great job of cleaning up all of White's pawns, and now he's cleared the path for his pawns to start walking to the other side. He's also bringing his king, which is always good. Just be careful not to lose your rook here. He does that. As long as he keeps that rook in a safe square and brings in his king, the white king is getting closer and closer to checkmate. Um, I also like the speed with which he plays. Actually, he's up in time and he plays very quickly. And so far, he plays very well. All right, all of White's pieces are gone. Now we're into stalemate territory. If White gets lucky, he gets away with a draw. But White can never win this game again. When you've got just the king left, you can never win the game, even if Jishan runs out of time. The game is still going to be a tie, because White does not have, as we say, checkmating material. Now it's made in one, and he found it. That was a great game by Jishan, and if you look at the standings, I believe that means that Javius, despite losing his last round, has won the tournament. We'll wait for confirmation on that. Um, both games have finished and the tournament has ended. This last game was extremely well played by Jishan, and I am trying to get you confirmation before we'll end the stream.
Yep.
Alright, I just got confirmation that Javius has won this second tournament by the Harvard Public Library for Harvard High School students. Um, if you're more interested, if you want to find out more about the chess program, please go to teamdigusa.com and find out more about this. Next week will be another event, Sunday at 9 a.m. and the chess students will play a lot of games and learn more things as the week goes on. So we're looking forward to more good chess next week. Thank you, Gabe,
Yeah. Thank you, Jan.
and
Great comment.
we'll see you guys next week.
All right, you guys have a great Sunday.